You talk about a complete dumpster fire. Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers look horrible. They only have one win on the season. Let me repeat that. One win on the season. This team looked better underneath Matt Rule than how it looks right now. They just fired Frank Reich a couple weeks ago. Thomas Brown is back to calling plays, and yet again, they cannot score an offensive touchdown against the New Orleans Saints. They went on a stretch without scoring an offensive touchdown when Thomas Brown was calling plays. I understand that he uses motion. He does all these different things. I understand that he's not a good offensive play caller, not with this team, maybe with a different team. The Carolina Panthers need to clean house after this season, and that includes the defensive coordinator as well. Just go back and get a brand new coaching staff. Yes, they did that in the previous offseason. They need to do it again. This is what happens when you hire the wrong guy to come in and try to fix everything. Scott Fitterer may be fired after this season because this team traded a first round pick, DJ Moore, and numerous other picks as well to go get Bryce Young. And let's just be completely honest here. He has not looked like that generational talent. And I understand the situation that he's in right now is not great. The offensive line is one of the worst, if not the worst offensive line in the NFL. He has a lack of a run game on most weeks, and the wide receivers are not always open unless it is Adam Thielen at times. I fully understand that, but he's also missing throws as well. It's okay to acknowledge that the Carolina Panthers team and the roster around Bryce Young is bad, but it's also good. It's also a good thing to go out there and to acknowledge as well. Bryce isn't playing good. Bryce isn't playing well. He has developed bad habits. Even going back to the Detroit Lions game, he's throwing interceptions to a hung corner to where he's just getting baited. After you just got baited in week 1 by Jesse Bates, it's time to learn some of these things. He's not learning right now. He is overworked. He is overwhelmed. And I do feel bad for him because it's not going to get better at any point in time throughout the rest of the season because the offensive line is so bad. Icky at the left tackle position has regressed tremendously from what he looked like on the back half of last season. Austin Corbett cannot get things going at times because he dealt with the knee injury. He was recovering from that, so he missed a good portion of the season. Taylor Moton looks like he is washed at the right tackle position. He has given up the most pressures and the most sacks ever in this season in his career. He's never looked this bad before. So from tackle to tackle right now, they're not in good situation. The center was very good last season, the back half of last season when Steve Wilkes was coaching guys up. Right now, he does not look good. And they cannot run the football consistently enough with this team. At times, they do look good, but on most drives, it doesn't work out. And Chuba Hubbard had a solid day today against the New Orleans Saints. He had 23 carries for 87 yards. And Miles Sanders had 10 carries for 74 yards as well. They overpaid Miles Sanders. I'm just going to keep saying that over and over again because they did. He's just a decent running back at best. They overpaid him because Frank Reich wanted him and the running backs coach wanted him. And guess what? Neither one of those guys are here with this team right now. But for you not to be able to go out there and score an offensive touchdown, that is pretty pathetic. And Jonathan Mingo was wide open, post route. Bryce Young misses him, overthrows him. He's having a lot of overthrows now, and he's developing bad habits because he is with this team. But Bryce Young has to play better. I'm not going to come on here and lie to you guys and say, hey, Bryce Young doesn't deserve any faults. Yes, he does. He is missing open receivers sometimes. And a lot of it may be because of his height. That's what a lot of insiders want to say. A lot of spectators want to say, well, it's because he's too short. No, he just clearly doesn't see it or he doesn't have time inside the pocket. I need to see him with a better offensive line to get a true evaluation of him. But right now with this Carolina Panthers team, he isn't good. The defense has been the strong suit with this team for years now. It's the same song and dance over and over with this Carolina Panthers team. They have the strong defense. Their offense can't figure things out. And this is what happens when you roll the dice so much at the quarterback position. When you go from Teddy Bridgewater, when you go from Sam Darnold, and you trade picks for Sam Darnold, a second round pick, and you exercise a fifth year option, and he goes down, he wasn't the answer, and you trade a late round pick for Baker Mayfield as well. All those things have now caught up to this team. The worst of it all is this. You don't know for sure that Bryce Young is your guy. You hope that he is your guy. You hope that Bryce Young can eventually develop into being that franchise quarterback, because if he can't, you just set this roster back and this entire franchise back for another 3 to 4 years for sure, because you don't have a first round pick this year. You have to wait till next year to get that pick. I'm not calling Bryce Young a bust right now because that would be crazy to say. He hasn't even played an entire first year because he missed a game this season. And the game he missed was the Carolina Panthers' best offensive game with Andy Dalton. I would not say sit Bryce Young. You let him go out there and still work through his progression and learn things. But the way that he's looking right now, it is not good. And you do not want him to develop these nasty habits long term. Wide receivers are cutting their routes off midway because they know the offensive line is not up to standard. Hayden Hurst hasn't been that big tight end signing either that they hoped that he would have been. And I do wish him a speedy recovery and prayers as well, because he did suffer a concussion a few weeks ago and he was dealing with some amnesia at the time. He has gotten better, but we continue to go out and wish for him to get better as well. He did practice in a limited role, so he will be back on the field with this team in a full starting role again at the tight end position. They're just being careful with him right now. I like Hayden Hurst a lot, but they didn't have to go out there and pay him the money that they paid him as well. The only reason that he was able to go out there and get this contract is because he looked good with the Cincinnati Bengals. And let's just be completely honest, it's easy to look good when you're playing alongside Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and you have Joe Burrow as your quarterback. He was not deserved that money either. So I'm just looking at this Panthers team right now. Bad roster decisions, bad adjustments at the coaching position. This is what's going to happen. And they also had a block punt that went for a touchdown in this game as well. The Saints offense did not even play well in today's game. That's what I'm saying. It's the same song and dance over and over and over again. The defense goes out. They give them good production, but the offense cannot cash in. And this isn't just a 1-year thing. This has been going on for the last 3 to 4 years with this Carolina Panthers team. You can preach patience, but this team hasn't had a winning season in numerous years. And Carolina Panther fans are now tired of this. This comes down to David Tepper. You have to go out there and hire the right guy. Hopefully it is the offensive coordinator with the Detroit Lions. If it's not him, you need to bring in an offensive guru to build around Bryce Young. And Bryce Young is in a similar situation that Tua Tagovailoa was in with the Miami Dolphins for those first couple of years, where it did not look good at all, to where the arm was in question and the talent was in question. But if you could put some speed receivers on this team and you just put some big targets out there for Bryce Young that can consistently get open and they can get some contested catches at times, I do believe that Bryce Young can be that superstar player. But if you bring this roster back out here next season, it's not going to work. I don't have the Carolina Panthers win another game for the rest of the season. That is just how bad this offense is. They can't even score a touchdown. They're just relying on their kicker to go out there and score points for them. And that's not going to be sustainable in this NFL league. This is a different NFL. This is not the NFL from 15 to 20 years ago, to where you can just depend on your defense in the run game. Bryce Young has to be better. He has to hit the wide receivers when they're open. He has to do a better job of seeing the field. But I definitely do see this happening after this season. Thomas Brown will be fired, and the rest of his coaching staff will be fired as well, because he's a terrible offensive coordinator. Frank Reich was terrible as well. But at the end of the day, this comes down to David Tepper. He hired these guys, and he's been letting this happen underneath his nose. And Scott Fitterer may be fired after this season as well. But let me know in the comment section below, am I overreacting to the Carolina Panthers team, and who should be the head coach of this team moving forward? If you're new to the channel, hit subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, want each and every last one, guys, stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Peace.